our media products sort of got its influences from films that are sort of about crime investigation and using flashbacks. For example, the latest film coming out called Unknown is about a guy who loses memory. So we saw that and thought, well, could be a pretty good idea to base a film around. So what we decided to do is take parts like of influential
It's a bit like Memento.
material, yeah.
Bourne Identity as well.
Yeah, that's a good one. When he's realising who he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So that's the base kill storyline of it and where we got it from. Okay, so.
Well, I think
Alright,
the social group. Oh, fuck's sake.
no, stop. Go now.
Well, I think that the social group that would want to particularly watch this film would probably represent sort of the older audiences, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, people
Closer
sort
to
of into
20s.
yeah, psychological
Yes.
thrillers, crime investigations, stuff like that.
We made it.
I don't
We
think,
should want to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably older teenagers. I can't see young children wanting to watch
There's
a film like this.
you have to figure out what's going on. So
Yeah.
might not enjoy it.
It doesn't really represent a certain social group, though, I'd say, because it's sort of what we tried to get out of the film is that it can happen to anybody. So that's sort of the idea we got from it. So, in all fairness, it doesn't really represent a certain social group. That's
Independent filmmakers, companies.
I think generally the companies that work on a low budget would.
It doesn't have a big enough budget to
Oh, yeah.
justify Hollywood.
We didn't spend anything in the end, did we?
Spending money.
Nah.
We spent money on food.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, just.
We didn't actually spend money on any
Spent
of
a
the
lot of
filming.
time as well.
Unless you count the fake blood, because that might have cost money.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It would cost about £3.
Fake blood. Okay, budget of £3.
Yeah.
So it's not bad.
No.
But I guess an independent company would support us because, you know, we sort of do what most independent movie filmmakers would do and actually use the outside and concentrate on camera angles instead of actually using loads of effects. So that's the basically
I think we did
gist of
use
it.
quite a few effects.
A few,
The
but
colour gradient.
not as much as Hollywood.
That's colour gradient. Not really an effect though, is it? It's just changing
Colour
the colours
adjustments
that
and stuff.
are more vibrant than others. Older teenagers,
Yeah.
maybe 20s, but
He-
15 and above.
Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah. So sort of the more mature population would sort of enjoy it as it is based on events that could have happened in the past. So maybe.
Could have.
Yeah. Well, would
Well,
have.
I think it's kind of unrealistic. I wouldn't say it's realistic.
I wouldn't
Well,
say.
in a way, he gets mugged, doesn't it? It does happen.
Yeah,
So
He gets attacked.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
people don't generally lose their memory once
Yeah.
they've been mocked.
It's
you do.
It's kind of a, but the memory thing is, the whole thing with the memory is they have to figure out what happened, and he's trying to figure out what happened. So younger people probably wouldn't watch it as much because there might be a bit too much talking,
Yeah.
because they'd have to explain what happened and there's all the mystery. But
It's more the puzzle filling in, isn't it? You got to
if-
work out yourself.
yeah,
It's
if
more
they like
why
to work out what
appeal.
happened, they'll
Well, I think
really
that's
like it.
that's what people like about our film.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
you
that
got to
would
work
be.
stuff
People,
out.
people would like. At the same time, people would like the whole
Sure.
puzzle thing. At the same time, people would like the whole puzzle element of it because they'd have to figure it out, and it lets them think, and they could form their own opinion as to what's happening.
I guess we sort of based on a theme and sort of concentrated on that and developed it.
It starts with a gunshot.
Yeah. So that's a good.
It
point.
starts with a
they're
man
so
rustling.
straight into the story, aren't they?
It starts.
There's
The,
no
fi-
messing about.
the-
It's just bang straight in.
the film actually starts before you even see anything because you hear the guy rustling through the trees, and then gunshots are heard, and then it actually fades in. What's it on there?
Through the trees.
I stumbled over the words. And then he actually starts waking up and looking at the camera. So you're immediately drawn in because you want to know what's happened.
Yeah.
And then as it further goes on, it shows you what happened.
Well, it doesn't show you. It doesn't show you completely what's
No, it
happening,
doesn't
it's
show you
just-
the
That's the
event.
sort
It
of
shows
idea
you.
of it,
last,
isn't it?
yeah.
It shows you the aftermath, but you don't see what actually happened. It's like Reservoir Dogs, like that, because Reservoir Dogs has the same thing. you see the aftermath and the before, but you don't see what happened. But you don't see any before in ours.
Yeah, it sort of appeals to the people of who are into that sort of psychological thrillers and have to work stuff out for themselves and not just be fed it by media products. So that's the sort of idea of our film, and that's why we decided to concentrate on that sort of subject and leave it quite open to other things happening in it, making the viewer want to watch it even more.
One of our main problems with technology was probably definitely the sound, wasn't it?
Sound.
Oh.
Sound.
The amount of times that we misused the boom pole or didn't actually use it cost us quite a lot of time in the end.
Yeah. A lot of the problem with it goes down to the boom pole, because we do not know how to use a boom pole at the start,
Well,
did we?
We got good at the
Yeah.
end.
We got it at the end.
But I guess that was an advantage, wasn't it? Because sort of we learned to actually be able to use it in the end, and we used it to its full effect. For instance, the start of the clip,
Yeah.
where the rustling. That's the sort of idea we got.
We
from
never
it.
would
So-
have. We never would have been able to do the rustling at the beginning. Before now.
Oh, it wouldn't sound
Before-
any good.
It wouldn't have worked. We wouldn't have been able to pull it off.
Also, another problem was the transition shots, like when we had
The
to
cut.
take a shot and then
Yeah.
cut it, and then I was in
The
slightly different
preliminary. The
place.
preliminary task.
Oh,
The preliminary task is the ugliest thing we've made.
Yeah.
yeah.
But we also learned how important depth of field was.
Yeah,
making
depth
it
of field.
look professional and making it look.
Depth of
Using the
field.
blur.
Yeah,
That's good.
depth of field is important to making it look professional, because otherwise everything's in sharp focus.
Make sure it's
It just doesn't look as professional, does it, when it's
No.
not
No.
got that kind
Doesn't.
of.
And well, the preliminary task has a disappearing hat. And
Yeah.
is-
Loads of
and
faults.
we kind of change rooms.
So so in this one we decided to be very careful in what we did, and to make sure that it tried to run as smooth as possible.
In a way
We used
that
one set. We just used one set.
yeah,
didn't
we use one
Yeah.
set, and it's basically all around a certain area. But in a way, the fades to white help, because it makes any transitions you make much smoother.
Yeah.
Like to the flashbacks. If we'd have just gone straight to the flashbacks, it would have looked horrible.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't have just run
But it
smooth.
dissolves to white, and then the flashbacks kick in, and then you clearly know that you're not in the same scene. You're in a different scene.
Yeah.
At a different time.
In fact, the flashbacks sort of helped us a lot, because it sort of pieced the puzzle together easier
it
than
didn't-
we did. Then it actually flowed.
It didn't actually.
consecutive order.
When we were editing it, we learned a lot about editing it.
Oh yeah.
Because now, for the bit where he's talking over the actions of him running away, we wouldn't have been able to do that at the beginning either, would we?
No.
But through editing it, we edited it all together, and it didn't feel right, did it?
Nah. It
It
was
was
just
it was too fast. It felt
Yeah.
a bit too.
Yeah,
It didn't feel
it felt-
like normal speed.
Adding in the flashbacks with the help of Premiere has made it a lot better. So, technology in the end helped.
Oh yeah.
After
And
we figured out how to
experience
use
as well,
it.
isn't it? After the faults, they sort of made us stronger and made.
We
sure
learned
that
from our mistakes,
Oh,
Once we'd filmed our first main task, which didn't turn out to be our main task.
which will never be mentioned again.
Yes, it was terrible.
Well, I think we learned so much from.
Yeah, we learned so much from making the
the
first
first
one.
one.
Never use outside help that you can't
Yeah.
trust.
And in fact, we've kind of learnt that if it's not great recording, there's no point trying to work on it. You might as well just
Yeah.
record
Yeah.
another one.
If
Brilliant.
the
quality.
shoot's bad,
don't just
don't
try again.
waste your time.
Yeah.
Just do